What is up with it? It's your boy OMD Dex 300, and you have landed in the San Fernando Valley studios of the Corner Store Podcast. It is I. Yes, it is me, OMD Dex 300. And once again, KSP is in effect. It is 10/10/23, October, Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Yesterday was Monday Night Football. That game sucked all heaven. It sucked. Not saying heaven sucked. I'm just saying if you had to go to hell and you were supposed to watch that game yesterday, you would not be happy. So with that said, welcome to the Corner Store Podcast. I gotta admit, there's a lot of shit going on right now. I might have to have a pod to talk about it. It's very important to me that we discuss what's going on. And the subject today is war, every fucking where all of a sudden. And there's potential for more wars on different fronts that this country, the United States, could be fighting on, or at least helping someone fight their battles. Obviously, Israel and the Middle East is the hotbed, the hot subject right now that's going on. The Palestinians and a set, which they're just going nuts on the news, every news outlet you could think of, from Fox to CNN, even though they don't agree and they talk all this bullshit about how they can't stand each other. Well, they're all in agreement on this hotbed subject that Israel being attacked by Hamas is the most heinous thing that ever happened. The Jewish people in the United States and abroad, depending on what, if they're Zionistic or not, I don't think a lot of the Jews in the United States are, how should I put this? The Jews of old are, there's Jews out there who, you know, we know what we're talking about. We know that there are some Jews who practice Judaism in different ways and like to gather amongst themselves. Look, I'm not a Jew basher. Everything you say against that faith or a specific set of people in that faith, which is a lot of people, it's anti-Semitism and we want to kill. No, you can't keep hiding behind the Holocaust. That shit happened back in World War II. The things that happened to Black people happened over centuries, and we don't get that same love. It's obvious why. African Americans, I believe, are truly the chosen people of God. That's my opinion. Whether you believe it or not, who gives a shit? Because we know the true text. We know that the Bible has been rewritten. The Christian Bible has been rewritten. The King James Version of the Bible has been rewritten. We know there's real text out there that, you know, was deciphered and used and rewritten to use to control people. And we also know, if we know that, we also know that the Israelis that we know of today that live in the country of Israel, they don't even call themselves Israelites. They call themselves Israelis. They're not the chosen, they're not the people who are of this land. The Palestinians were. Palestinian people have been there for centuries. And that land was given to them. Not the Palestinians, the Jews that are there now, the Israelis that are there now, that land was given to them. They had nowhere to go, and that land was given to them. They're Zionistic Jews. They like money and stuff like that. They love luxury. And that's the reason why people are on their head like that. And not only that, people are on their head for another reason. They stole that land from them people, and they have been dogging them out. If you look on a map where Gaza and the Palestine is, and how it's just cut off. It's cut off. It's just a little strip of land with millions of people on it right next to the ocean. I don't know if that's the Red Sea. I'm pretty sure that's the Red Sea. And yeah, that's where they got them, their backs all up against, and they bombed the shit out of Palestine for the stuff they did. Palestinians, I have to admit, that was a terrible thing. It was terrible, the attack that they did. It was coordinated. They're pissed off about there was no intelligence about it. See, because the Americans and the Israelis and all these super rich countries are so big on their intelligence. They got so much money and all these drones and all these secret agent fuckers that end up in your, you know, if you Like I'm not speaking against the United States government. I'm not speaking against anything about what this country is really supposed to be, about. What I am speaking on is the double dealing and the bullshit. Why are you backing Israel so hard? Why are you backing them so hard, but then you wouldn't back Haiti? Any country with a dark complexion in it, y'all hate them. You so-called love South Africa. You know why? Because it's white people say they run that. And I can't believe it's actual white people. Yeah, you were born there, but that y'all took that area and claimed it for yourself, and now you can call yourself South African. That's, just because you was born there, maybe your granddaddy, who was one of the dudes stabbing up people to take that motherfucker. Everything in this world, when it comes to some type of a war, has something to do with ethnic cleansing or the domination of another race of people. In the Middle Eastern case, it's the domination and subjugation to a certain degree. Maybe not slavery, but stay in your own lane, so to speak. Stay in your own lane. That is crazy to me. But remember the world we live in, y'all. Remember the world that we live in. Here's what President Biden had to say about it today.
Words in describing the shock and horror of Hamas' surprise weekend attack on Israel.
It's an act of sheer evil. More than 1,000 civilians slaughtered, not just slaughtered in Israel. Among them, at least 14 American citizens killed. Parents butchered using their bodies to try to protect their children. Stomach-turning reports of babies being killed. Entire families slain.
And he clarified Washington's stance on Israel's counteroffensive.
We stand with Israel. We will make sure Israel has what it needs to take care of its citizens, defend itself, and respond to this attack. There's no justification for terrorism. There's no excuse.
To that end, he said the U.S. has sent a strike.
Now you hear that, right? Unwavering support. Anything that Israel needs, it will be provided by the U.S. government. You heard Joe Biden just now. He said and preached those same words in regards to President Zelensky. Now, I'll say this. I have no idea what that war is about in regards to the Ukrainians versus the Russians. They're all the same to me as far as, they're whites killing whites. Do I want that? No. I'm not some sick old person that wants white people killing each other. I don't want nobody doing shit to each other. I wish everybody would just calm they weirdo and sadistic ass thoughts and processes the fuck down so we could all just live and do what we need to do. But this world's not built for us to live and do what we do. It's not built for that. It's built for chaos and destruction and domination and gathering amongst, ourselves. He who has the most is the best. That's the way this world is built. That's everywhere. You see it in the films. You see it in the books that you read, the stories about people, just being bullies. That's all this world is built on. Usually the people who are doing the most dastardly shit can't fight, have to pay other people to do everything for them. And if you ever drop them off in the middle of nowhere, some shit like that, they'd be lost and they would die. The people who really deal with their hands and, put their hands in the dirt and create things from nothing are the real salt of the earth. And they really are the people that make this world move. And the people that don't do shit and feel like because they might have been born with the money or maybe even worked hard to get money. And now that they have a lineage down their family line to leave money and wealth to those people, they teach them to say other people are beneath them, whether it's because of the color of their skin or the religion or the God or the deity that they. And there's many deities. That's the only reason why I say that. I know there's only one true God, but let's keep it real. Everybody don't believe in the same thing you do. And the thing about the Jewish faith is watered down. And I said it, and I don't care who gets mad when they hear this. The Jewish faith is watered down. And here's what I mean by that. There are Jews out there who truly know who truly know the Palestinians were kicked out of their homeland. There are Jews who know that, and they readily admit it. But there aren't enough of them around. And even, I hate to go all spiritual, but the Bible speaks of this. The Bible speaks of Jews who truly believe that Jesus is the Messiah, and that would be 100 and something thousand odd people. You can go read it for yourself in Revelations, that believe Jesus is the Messiah and truly will get into heaven. All the other Jews don't believe that. They believe in themselves and riches and everything. It's crazy, man. Religion is a dangerous, dangerous thing. That's why I don't believe in it. I'm a spiritualist. I believe there's one true God, that's for sure. He made all that we foresee. He created us all. His son walked the earth for a time. He also died for the sins of man. And that's the reason why a lot of things that happen on earth are purely just, just happenstances, because God doesn't, cause natural disasters to harm people or to lash out in anger when, the people he created misbehave. This just, and a lot of people don't even believe. Like if I was talking to Aries Spears right now, the comedian, he'd be like, man, you believe in that shit? He's an atheist. He don't believe in that. So it's all about what you believe. And this is the reason why I said on Instagram today that in my family, we talked about this when I was a kid. I used to hear people say this. Religion, sports, and politics is three of the most dangerous subjects to bring up anywhere. People have died talking about who's better. This guy, Michael Jordan behind me. Let me see if I can point the right way. Michael Jordan behind me. Who's the best rapper? Tupac, all that. People have got into arguments in the street, bars, barbershops, grocery store, whatever, over stupid subjects like that. So how do you think religion comes across? How do you think politics comes? Let's get the politics of today and what people believe. Believe it or not, even though let me ask you something. The people that are African American or black, I should stop saying African American, the people that are black that believe that Donald Trump is the best chance for the United States as president, I don't believe any of them are. If we really got somebody in there who could help us, as a people and come up with ideologies that will, bring people from the bottom at least up to the middle, he or she would be killed in the first year of their presidency because they can't have that. There's a contingent of people, a small group of families of old money that control money. Because a lot of people don't realize that the money that you use to pay for everything today, if you read the paper, it says it's a promissory note. Cash is only worth, it's not even worth the paper that it's printed on. It's really actually worthless. The things that make money is like gold and silver and, precious metals and land. Those are the things that make money. This is one of the reasons why Muammar Gaddafi was killed and hung actually in his country. They hung him. They turned the people against him, even though the people knew that he was trying to do something different. The gold dinar was going to become the currency for Libya. And the powers that be got wind of that, and they couldn't have that because that would shrink the dollar down to nothing. And that's almost happening now as well, because there's other countries that's about to do the same thing to weaken the dollar, something very similar. So this is a volatile time. This is one of the reasons why I brought that up is this is one of the reasons why war is going on. War is happening when the money starts to get funny. You can look all this stuff up yourself. When the money starts to get funny, that's when all of a sudden all these wars break out. The war in Ukraine hasn't stopped yet. They still shooting at each other. But they're not doing enough damage to really call. It ain't like Russia just sent a whole bunch of tanks, 5 to 16 divisions, to just go into the towns and just start demolishing. No, it's a little bullshit skirmish. It has everything to do with, it's all a plan. This shit is so crazy. And for those who don't realize, China and the United States are getting close to maybe having some type of conflict in the South China Sea. With the help of the Japanese government, all of a sudden, because of the man-made islands China has been creating in that area, they started to make Japanese and American islands as well, or at least build up on some of the islands in the China Sea, which is real close to maybe even less than 1,000 miles from the China border. And the Chinese are pissed, even though they know they've been throwing their weight around. And let me tell you why they've been throwing their weight around. America's trying to sanction and squeeze China down to its knees. And that causes desperation, which causes a country to flex their muscles. Don't be surprised if North Korea and China link up to jointly try to do something in this situation. What I'm saying to you, trying to slide this in, not trying to be weird, but I hope this ain't the end of it all. I hope we ain't near WW2 3 times. I'm sorry, WW2. I hope we're not almost to DEFCON 5 like in war games. Because if we are, we might as well go and let this shit pop now. Because I'm not trying to sit up here and be sitting under desk and hearing sirens in LA and all this different shit. Chances are we're going to get hit by a meteor before then anything anyway. And oh yeah, from what I understand, and you can look this up yourself, next year, 2024, around the same time in October, near December, I'm sorry, we're supposed to be struck by a meteor. They've been tracking it for 11 years. Look it up. It's supposed to hit in the Pacific Ocean and cause a tidal wave of 200 to 500 feet tall. It's going to hit the West Coast all the way up and down. And they got a telescope that's orbiting Earth right now that is looking for anomalies just like that. And that's what they supposedly found. So we even got that to think about now. I wonder if it really is a big ass meteor coming to Earth. I wonder, with all this war shit going on, will people put their arms down to try to figure out what to do? Or is everybody just going to go nuts and just start looting and doing wild shit, breaking into people's houses they've been wanting to have sex with and all that because they think the world's going in? I wonder what's going to happen. Think about it. We're living in some real volatile times. We're living in times where there was a report on the Shade Room that NASA is saying that they're going to have homes on the moon by 2026 for people to move from Earth to the moon and live there. I think these motherfuckers crazy. We can't even feed the homeless. They talking about moving to the moon. Why do you think they keep talking about going to space? Think about it. All the problems we have down here on Earth, why are they talking about going to another planet? It really don't make any sense. I'll tell you why. Because they're trying to get the fuck up out of here. They know something we don't know. Mars, all these different planets, terraforming, creating breathable atmosphere on planets that, see, this is the thing, man. We're living in some real volatile times. You can sum it up however you want to sum it up. We're living in times, man. We're living in some wild ass times. And, the thing that really surprises me more than anything is the fact that there's so many different opinions about what happened. This is TYT, and they reported that Egypt, the intelligence community from the country of Egypt, warned Prime Minister Netanyahu of the impending attack from Hamas coming from the Palestinians. Listen to this.
Repeated warnings that Hamas was planning an attack on Israel, including an alleged direct notice from Cairo's intelligence minister to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So let's start with the specific warnings, and then we'll go to other allegations in regard to why Israel missed the intel that predicted that this kind of attack was going to happen. The Egyptian official said Egypt, which often serves as a mediator between Israel and Hamas, had spoken repeatedly with the Israelis about something big without elaborating. He said Israeli officials were focused on the West Bank and played down the threat from Gaza. Now, there has been flare-ups and violence in the West Bank between IDF, soldiers and Palestinian residents in the West Bank. Part of that has to do with the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu allows for the building of illegal settlements in the area. Every time there is a religious holiday, there's more violence in that area. So a lot of the attention has been directed to the West Bank. And so the allegation is when there was intel in regard to Hamas planning some sort of invasion out of Gaza, the Israeli government was not really paying attention to it. Now,
You see that? When you got an insect flying around and you're a big giant, you know you can squash that insect. You're not going to pay it no mind. That's the reason why, the contingent of Caucasians that are in power over its citizens of color in the United States, they don't pay us no mind. They don't think we're going to uprise or do no shit. After all these centuries of subjugation from the, actual slave trade to Jim Crow to the civil rights movement, all that, through all that shit, they ain't never feared us not one time. There's probably been some people that have gotten done in by black people. Because believe me, as much stuff that happened to blacks, there's been some incidences where some black people have caught some white people slipping somewhere, beat the fuck out of their ass and did them dirty too. You ain't gonna hear about that because it was so few and far between. But you can only fucking understand if that type of shit didn't happen, which I'm sure it has. You can kind of understand why that would happen. Do you want it to happen to people? No. Even though they suppressed and did all kind of, there's some things if you heard, even white people be tripping when they hear some of the things that were done to blacks during the slave trade. They just be like covering their ears and eyes and just can't believe it. With that said, you got to know that through the times, there's some times that then happened that where white people got caught in a situation where numbers wasn't right and the blacks was right there and they was feeling froggy and they did their ass just because of their color. And that's only because it had already been done to us. Now you got to know, when whites first came here and they encountered the Native Americans, now if they had really came in peace and not really was tripping and kind of try to figure out how to talk to them and tell them, look, we can share this shit together. You know what I'm saying? I know it's y'all's, but if y'all let us share and just kind of grew their little shit that way, not trying to take over, but trying to be a part of, let them do their thing and da-da-da. See, the belief is too different. Whites want to take over, want to have this shit. Ooh, this shit nice. Look at these trees and everything. We can't have these dudes ain't wearing no clothes, smelling like this. That's their style. You got a lot of nerve talking about somebody smells some type of way, the way the English used to smell and live back in the 9th and 10th and 12th century. Ugh. Pretty disgusting. But as time went on, people supposedly started learning how to bathe and all that. When you come to another country where people are living like you used to live back in the day, which is always crazy to me. It's like you used to live that way, but now that you don't, it's beneath you. The fuck out of here. It's always been about domination and taking over. What Conor McGregor used to be saying in the UFC or on his commercial, he's got a Irish whiskey, proper number 12. and he says, we're not here to participate. We're here to take over. That is something that is so apropos in regards to white people and him. It's the Irish, the Scottish, the English, the Dutch, the French, the Italian, all of them is the same. They like to dominate and take over shit. And the funny thing is, this pigmentation used to be the ones running the world. And when you run the world for so long, you kind of get fat. You kind of develop a taste for knowledge more than you do war. And that's what happened to black people. They got very, very civilized, I should say, more instead of more warlike. You know what I'm saying? What's up with you, Light Slim? How you doing, baby? Been on since 9:30. I switched it to 9:30 instead of 10, and I've been really talking about the war that's going on in Ukraine. Somebody was on here earlier because I actually promote on my YouTube channel, which has 16.9 thousand followers. If y'all didn't know, 16.9K on my TikTok page, which is Corner Store Vibes. If you want to go check out my TikTok page, it is called Corner Store Vibes on TikTok. Pretty cool. Got some little different little videos of different shit. Couple pictures of some things that I've done, and also some promotions for this pod. Well, earlier today, I think there was a few people that probably saw the promotion and jumped on the podcast for just to peek their head in and see. I don't believe they too much like what I was talking about, because I've been jibbing about the idealism of war on this podcast and all the wars that are going on right now. None of these wars are misdirection about something else that's going on. It is good distraction, though, all the shit that's going on right now in the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and about to be in the South China Sea. We probably going to be jumping into a war with China soon, which is pretty much telling us we're in the last days as far as the war in Armageddon. Small Eastern country rising up to take on the world. The Palestinians only, all them people doing is retaliating on a country that's sitting right next to them, given to a bunch of people who wasn't there before. And when they got there, they just took the homeland, they took the motherland, the land where Jesus walked, and said, we're going to take this for our own, and told them to get the fuck on. That's what they said. And the Palestinians ain't feeling that shit. They're just not. They're not. Anybody who sees this that's a Jewish person in the United States going to say, oh, he's anti-Semitic. He's this, he's that. You know what? If you believe that, you anti-black, anti-Semitic. Hell, I'm a Jew by birthright. Anybody who's got dark skin is a Jew by birthright. We the chosen people. It's facts. The Zionist Jews of today, they on some other shit. I don't wish any of y'all demise. I'm not, fuck Hitler. That motherfucker could be sitting on 3 or 4 pitchforks down in hell. It's a goddamn shame that you hear about the Holocaust more than you hear about all the millions and millions of black people that have died at the hands of evil ass people over the centuries. Not just America. People keep talking about America and the slave trade, which went on for over 300 years. Now, let's go further back than that. What about when Leopold came and killed all those Congonites? About 3-4 million Congonites from the Congo for diamonds and gold. No one talks about that. The only time you ever hear about that is when African leaders who are speaking up more and more about not only people in Africa and having African pride and having pride in the country you're from in Africa, they also speaking about the black people that were the West Africans, which we are, that were taken from the continent of Africa in the colonial slave trade. And we have been taken away from our ancestors and our homeland. And we don't know who the hell we are. We the lost tribe. We the lost tribe. We the lost tribes, men and women. And because we were brought here and freed over years and years, the grip that had, us in a hold untightened to where we trickled down to where we are today. We're supposed to feel like we're doing better in this world because they let us go to live in hollers and swallows all over the world. Black people who have left this country, either they're thriving in another country or they're living. I know a lady that lives in, so I forget where she lives in Europe, but she lives really well. She don't have a whole lot, but she says she happy as heck. The people there are very sweet in that village she live in, and she just living her life. You know what I'm saying? I got a homeboy living in the Philippines. I couldn't do it. That's just too much for me. But he's got a wife and got 3 kids and dealing with that rainy season, all that bullshit. Too much. Only thing I know is the United States. But I honestly know if I went down to Africa and I had enough bread to just go and check it out, I would give it a real good once over to see, depending on what country. I don't know. I probably like to find my roots to see exactly where the hell I come from, or where my people supposedly came from, in order to know kind of where to go. Because you could be from Johannesburg or some fucking shit, or Tanzania or something. You could, we don't know where we from, and go down there and that government is crazy as fuck. You can't get out of there. Some wild shit. And they ain't finna, I hate to admit this, but some of them countries, they ain't real stable. You know what I'm saying? The stability ain't popping. You know what I mean? I would, hate to move down there with 7-8 million. Like you hit the lotto and you move down there, you got to be really, really, secured up with mad guns. Because I know one thing in certain countries in Africa, they ain't got no gun laws. You can just get you some guns and hope a motherfucker would come in your yard, lay his ass down and call them whatever country police or it is there. They'll come with them, and you get them niggas off your property. I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. I wouldn't put it past that's how it worked. Because here, they try to have all these rules about guns, especially in California. And the only reason they're doing all that is so you can't defend your goddamn self. That's the reason why if you put rules to not have weapons, depending on where the state you are, people gonna want to have. That's why so many guns in states like that with all them gun rules. You're gonna find a gun in everybody's damn car in a state that has all them gun laws. That's why Texas and Florida, even though there's guns in most of those people's cars, them people are half of them people is responsible gun owners. See, a lot of people probably think I'm conservative when it comes to guns. I am, but I still think you shouldn't have no automatic weapons. What the fuck you need? I was in the military. What the fuck you need a AR-55, 54-62 for? What you need that for? You know what I'm saying? You can't shoot. You don't need all that big ass shit. There's some handguns put a hole through a motherfucker, they'll see right through his ass. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to realize you can be liberal on some things and you can be conservative on some subjects. Shouldn't be, fenced in on being conservative all the time. That's a bunch of bullshit. This whole political system we live under is a bullshit system. And this whole way of living where you're taxed for the food you eat. You tax for the fucking clothes you buy. You tax for the car you drive. You taxed. Everything is a big tax here. What a motherfucker. And then they had a nerve to give you these bullshit tax breaks thinking you getting money back from the shit that you've been taxed about. How you getting money back? You've been taxed $5,000, but then they give you a tax break where you write off and shit. You only get the only people that benefit from these taxes and these cuts and all that is if you make a certain amount of money, because all you can do is write off every goddamn thing. Everybody don't know that, but they'll sit there and say that ain't my fault. Get educated about the system. Well, as soon as people start realizing they have to do that, you'll change the rules and the laws. Because let's keep it real. You don't want nobody to know about these things. And you also don't want nobody to know the real reasons why America backs Israel. America backs England, Great Britain, and the crown over there. America backs Ukraine and its independence from Russia and any other countries that were a part of the Soviet bloc. You back them not being under the Soviet rule. You know why? Because you was scared as fuck when Russia had and the Soviet Union had all them. It was like America fighting America. That's why the 50 states in America, and then you had the Soviet Union with all them countries they took and put inside of their umbrella. That's all they tried to do was subvert them. Now, was the totalitarianism of that country real harsh? Yeah. There's a lot of people probably saying, we don't like living in the Soviet Union. We don't like it. It's bullshit. But there was a whole bunch of people who fucking love that shit. Because once, I'm going to be honest, once they lifted or got the wall torn down and all that, man, there was more prostitution and drugs and fucking crime happening. They wasn't playing around. Yeah, I remember that movie Arnold Schwarzenegger was in called Red Heat, where he played one of them Soviet cops. They used to be hard on that drug shit. They kept that shit out of the country. Now, was there people still doing dope and everything? Of course they was. All these governments is full of shit. Whether it's a government that puts their boot on your neck and say, you can't do this, or a fake government like America who says, oh, we'll never put our boot on your neck. But then when you try to do this, they go, you can't be rich. They full of shit too. It's subjugation in any form you can think of it. America has a lot of nerve to say, oh, that form of government shouldn't happen. They're fucked up. No, you're fucked up too. The only reason why you're talking shit about the Soviet Union and Russia is because they had power. And y'all didn't want them to be powerful. America didn't want no rivals. They always was talking about we're number one. They always wanted people to rah-rah and say USA, USA. Of course it's cool to have pride in the country you live in, but it's not cool to make them people so fanatically patriotic that they don't think and rationalize when you're trying to pull the wool over their eyes. And for those who don't know, go look this up. They're trying to institute the draft again. And guess who the fuck is going into the army first? All of these immigrants that are down there on the southern border and the ones that have been dropped off in here, they're giving them a choice. Join the American military and get instant citizenship or get sent back to your naturalized country. They're saying you could be a citizen in America as long as you join the military. They're going to vet certain Hispanics or whoever they are, from wherever they're coming from. They're going to vet them, find out if they're criminals or if they spies from other countries or whatever, because I think a lot of that's going on too. This is a crazy fucking time we live in, man, because there's going to be a big skirmish coming up in a minute where they're going to need soldiers. I'm telling you, watch what I say. By December, we're going to be in another little war going on. The U.S. is going to be down. They already sent 6,000 carriers. I think it's 2 carriers with them. So, man, this is some wild shit, man. This is some wild shit. A lot of people believe, spiritual people that are religious, believe we're in the last days. We're in the last days. They're very scared. They ain't really scared that the world gonna end and going to heaven or, getting judged. They scared about all the things that's gonna happen leading up to that. I was asking my mom when COVID hit and all these people died over the world, was it, they speak of the rapture and all these people dying and going to heaven. Could that have been some type of form of the rapture? We don't know. Everything we read in the Bible is prophetical, right? We don't know how it actually going to happen. The symbols they talked about. As I looked in the sky, I saw a scorpion spitting fire. Hell, that sounds like an Apache helicopter to me. Go read that. It's in Revelation. I'm not trying to scare nobody, but look, man, all of this stuff is happening for a reason. Get with the program. It's a crazy time. Understand that it's more important to look out for yourself and be honest with yourself about what's happening in this world. Keep on working, doing what you got to do and striving to be the best before this all blows up, before it's all said and done. That's what I will say to everybody that watches this pod. Like Slim, I love you, lady, because you're one of the coolest, most loyal people I've ever met in my freaking life. And all I can do is thank you from the bottom of my heart to continue to support this podcast. For those who may not know, I'm with a company called S. Ingersoll Creations, and they've created the keychains. I'm going to have some for my podcast. This keychain right here was purchased by this company, Virgin Citrus. Virgin Citrus is a semi sponsor to this pod. Shout out to Chris and Virgin Citrus. This is a part of his batch of keychains. If you want keychains or plaques or anything made out of acrylic or anything like that, please get with me. S. Ingersoll Creations. I can get you with the company. We can get you a special deal. Keychains, anything. Real cool. Just let me know. Shout out to Sonia Ingersoll and her company. And man, I'm gonna have to go and get up out of here because this is pretty wild. The shit that's going on today was crazy. This wasn't a sudden pod or anything. I had kind of been planning to do this all day. But one thing I don't like is not being super prepared. Most of the stuff was off the top of the dome. Ain't really a lot to talk about other than this crazy wars that are going on. And also the earthquake that happened in Afghanistan, which killed a few thousand people. It's pretty crazy though. I love y'all. Keep praying. Keep doing exactly what you think makes you happy. Keep striving to do the best. Take care of your family, your loved ones. Pray to God. Thank Him for every day. It's your boy, OMD. See you soon again, KSP. Oh.